John Wilthew here, good to be with you. On Sunday, we were in Acts chapter 21 in our current series, and the context of that chapter is Paul taking a love gift from the Gentile churches that he worked with to the Jewish believers in Jerusalem. And this offering represented real sacrifice on the part of those churches because almost all the people were poor themselves. So I thought on this occasion, just following up that for our community groups, I'd focus on this whole issue of giving today because we have our special gift offering at this present time. Money is one of those things we tend to be extremely private about. We don't like other people knowing too much. We certainly don't like them prying into it. Well, I've got some news for you today, and that is that Jesus is real nosy when it comes to our finances. He knows all about them. He knows how much you earn, how stretched or how comfortable you are, how big your mortgage is. He knows how much you're in debt. He knows how much you've saved, how much you waste on useless things, how generous you are when it comes to hospitality and gifts. He knows how much you spend in the supermarket and on the car, on entertainment, on holidays. And he knows how much you give to the mission of the church month by month and, of course, on gift days. I've been looking in the last few days at Luke chapter 21, and there we read that Jesus is standing in the temple area close to where the offering boxes were situated. Actually, in John 8, we see that he's there on another occasion. It seems he would occasionally just hang about there near the offering boxes, being nosy, watching what people put in. And this is what we read in Luke chapter 21, verse 1. Jesus looked up and saw the rich putting their gifts into the offering box. In this area of the temple, there were 13 trumpet-shaped offering receptacles, and the rich would sometimes throw their large gifts ostentatiously into the brass receptacles, making a loud clatter in the process. And this was such a common sight, advertising how generous they were, that it came to be known as sounding a trumpet. And that's why in Matthew 6, we have this kind of language from Jesus. Beware of practicing your righteousness before other people in order to be seen by them. For then you will have no reward from your Father who is in heaven. Thus, when you give to the needy, sound no trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may be praised by others. Truly, I say to you, they have received their reward. And in Luke 21, this is what it says. Jesus looked up, he saw the rich putting their gifts into the offering box, and, verse 2, he saw a poor widow, but it put in 2 small copper coins. The poor widow. This woman stood in stark contrast to the rich. She was among the poorest in the land. Once a woman's husband died, she was vulnerable, she was dependent on the kindness of family or menial work to earn a meagre living. And this woman is described as a poor widow. And here she is, bringing her offering to the temple, and Jesus takes special notice. How much will she give? Not much, in fact, only 2 small copper coins. Verse 3, and he said, truly, I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all of them. These words, if taken literally, mean that she gave not more than any one of them, but more than all of them together. Jesus is turning giving on its head. This poor widow gave more than the sum total of all the wealthy givers, even though she only put in a paltry sum. And then he goes on, for they all contributed out of their abundance, but she, out of her poverty, put in all she had to live on. At that time, of course, there were no monthly salaries, no weekly pay packets. If you were poor, actually you earned or acquired enough for one day. This woman was going without food that day in order to make her offering. Oh, she probably didn't realize what Jesus was saying to others, and she went on her way, certainly not knowing she'd be talked about in the 21st century in Wyndham. And we too are unaware most of the time that Jesus is looking at our giving, not to pick fault, but to enjoy it and to turn to the heavenly host and say, look at that, just as Jesus did when he turned to those around him and said, look at that poor widow, she's putting in everything she has. So what does this tell us? What is Jesus looking for when he's nosy, when he's looking at our giving, including the gift offering? Just a couple of things that I felt quite stirred about looking at this. First of all, he's looking for giving that is actually for God's eyes. Jesus goes on in Matthew 6, when you give to the needy, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Our giving is for God's eyes, not for applause. Most people never know what you give. Many of you give to charities. You sponsor children in other nations. You support certain ministries, but you don't tell anybody about it. But God sees. God knows all about that giving of yours. Other people support family members who are struggling, but you do it without a fanfare. You don't blow a trumpet about it, do you? God sees this as well. He knows all about it. And if you give regularly by standing order, there are very few people on church staff who know what that is, but God knows. And on this occasion of our annual gift day, your giving and my giving is for God's eyes. It's for him. It's actually not for the elders. And it's first and foremost for him, not for the church to pay back a loan. We're giving to God. It's for his pleasure. Every act of generosity brings joy to the heart of God. So that's the first thing. He's looking for giving that's for God's eyes. This is for you, Lord. I'm giving this just for you, for your pleasure, to bring you joy. But he's also looking for giving that represents sacrifice. And in this incident in Luke 21, we do get close to what defines true generosity. It's measured not so much in how much we give as how much we keep back. Out of her poverty, this poor widow put in all she had to live on. And that is sacrificial giving. This is painfully challenging, isn't it, for every one of us? I don't know about you, but in my experience, gift days never, ever come at a convenient time. They always come when a big bill has just been paid or a big bill is coming soon. And of course, at this time, we're in the midst of this pandemic with all the financial challenges this represents for some in particular. And maybe this does take us a little closer to the widow, although still nowhere near her plight. We're feeling the pinch. Some don't have jobs that are secure. Those with your own business or are self-employed might be finding this year to be the toughest you've ever faced. And yet, compared to most of the world's population, we are still very rich. We have a home, food, clothes, transport. We have a system of state benefit, of medical care. We're not poor, are we? Now, what does this mean for us? John Wesley, who I referred to on Sunday, preached a message called The Danger of Riches, a very famous message in which he laid out three principles. He said, I gain all I can without hurting either soul or body. I save all I can, not willingly wasting anything. I give all I can, so I am effectually secured from laying up treasures on earth. Gaining, saving, and giving. Look, I don't believe God's going to mark you or me down if we still have money in the bank after this gift offering. We just need to be real with him and ourselves as far as our giving is concerned. Am I giving something that costs me? Or, well, am I offering my leftovers? And whatever you or I give, we are to give it with faith and to give it willingly. Just one more thing. I'll close with this question. What right does Jesus have to be nosy about our giving? It's a very good question, but there's a very good answer. 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 9. For you know the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, that though he was rich, yet for your sake and mine, he became poor, so that you by his poverty might become rich. God bless you.